or I guess in this case, the bottom 5 worst attended games of Caitlin Clark's career with the Indiana Fever. 15,017 fans. And I would have to look that up. That's got to be close to the lowest attended game ever is with Caitlin Clark actually playing. That's 2,257 empty seats, unsold seats for this game. So
the Indiana Fever's matchup against the Toronto Tempo wrapped up Wednesday night, and the broadcast featured heavy half-court possessions under head coach Stephanie White, making for what was described as a slow viewing experience overall. Once the league updated the official box score after the final buzzer, attendance figures revealed this game ranked among the lowest attended contests of Caitlin Clark's career with the franchise. With 15,217 fans in the building, that number leaves roughly 2,257 seats unsold or empty for the night, a figure cited as evidence that fan turnout reflects genuine disengagement with the current pace and style of play, rather than overblown criticism from commentators. Sophie Cunningham emerged as the standout performer of the evening, particularly catching fire during the final quarter. Notably, when Toronto's Bree Hall went down with an injury, the Tempo squad previously fully engaged in the contest appeared to lose momentum entirely, coinciding with Indiana beginning to pull away on the scoreboard.
You know, for all the people that think we're overly critical, we're trying to tell people that fans they're voting with their money, their pocketbooks right now, that they're not entertained by this brand of basketball. Sophie Cunningham, guys, she was the light of our life tonight. She went absolutely berserk, particularly in the fourth quarter.
Clark finished with a double-double, recording 21 points, 14 assists, and 5 rebounds, though her shooting struggled, going 5 of 1 from the field and just 1 of 8 from beyond the arc, alongside 6 turnovers, an overall rough shooting night, despite the strong all-around numbers. Cunningham, meanwhile, exploded for 24 points across 24 minutes of action, hitting 8 of 11 attempts overall, including 6 three-pointers on 6 of 7 shooting from deep, while also grabbing 6 rebounds and dishing 2 assists. Kelsey Mitchell added 27 points on a highly efficient 9 of 1 shooting clip. Aaliyah Boston quietly notched another double-double with 18 points and 11 rebounds, a stat line easy to overlook given how routinely she produces that kind of output. Cunningham's hot shooting drew comparisons to a similar stretch from the prior season, when she caught fire from three-point range for roughly 6 consecutive weeks, a run widely credited with helping the team secure a playoff spot.
Absolutely berserk, particularly in the fourth quarter. I do want to bring this up. When Brittany Sykes got hurt, the Tempo were all in this game. And then you could tell that deflated the entire Tempo team, and the Fever started pulling away at that point. Let's start here. Caitlin Clark. Well, glass half full, double-double. 21 points, 14 assists, 5 rebounds. The bad?
This performance appeared to echo that same kind of breakout stretch. It was also noted that the arena atmosphere remained flat for most of the contest, only picking up energy once Cunningham's shooting display got rolling in the second half. One sequence highlighted Clark splitting the defense before finding Monique Billings for a basket, part of a 1-4 assist effort that at one stage looked like it might approach 20 dimes on the night. Commentary also floated the idea somewhat provocatively that it might be time for Cunningham to overtake Lexi Hull in the starting lineup, given her recent form. Multiple clips showed Clark setting up Cunningham for catch-and-shoot threes, with Cunningham knocking each one down in succession, prompting jokes about her shooting elbow having seemingly superhuman qualities.
The bad? 5 of 15 from the field, 1 of 8 from three-point range, 6 turnovers. Yikes. It was kind of a rough game, folks. It was. Sophie Cunningham went berserk. 24 points in 24 minutes. 8 of 11, 6 three-pointers. 6 of 7, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Kelsey had 27 on 9 of 11.
It was emphasized that Toronto isn't a typical expansion-level roster, unlike an earlier matchup against the Portland Fire, which featured largely unfamiliar names. The Tempo squad includes recognizable veteran talent such as Bree Hall and Natasha Cloud, and is coached by Sandy Brondello, with some suggesting she'd be a strong fit for Indiana's bench given her track record. Her team entered the night with a 7-7 record. Despite the win, the broadcast acknowledged the game was largely ugly and slow-paced, lacking the more explosive, fast break style fans have associated with this roster in flashes, mostly driven by Clark when it does appear. Looking at Clark's overall offensive impact, accounting for her 21 points plus crediting her 14 assists as 2-point baskets, her direct involvement in scoring totaled a minimum of 49 points worth of offense for the night, reinforcing her role as the team's primary playmaking engine even on an off night shooting the ball. Cunningham was credited with picking up the slack on a night Clark's shot wasn't falling as it has recently.
11, and Aaliyah Boston once again had one of the quietest double-doubles you'll ever hear of. 18 points, 11 rebounds. I had no idea until I looked at this just now that she had a double-double tonight. I said early on, Sophie is showing out. Let's put her in the three-point contest. We know she ended the game the other day, shooting the lights out from three. She shot the lights out from three in this game.
Final attendance figures were revisited once more, confirming the night fell just short of dipping below the 15,000 mark, reinforcing concerns about declining in-arena engagement for this particular matchup. 3 different players closed the night above the 20-point mark, with Caitlin Clark falling just shy at 21, rounding out a complete performance across nearly every category on the stat sheet. Across the board, the production touched every facet of the game: scoring, playmaking, defense, all of it on display. Cunningham's shooting performance speaks for itself given the raw numbers, though it's worth noting up front she likely won't end up being the single biggest headline storyline once the dust fully settles on this particular outing. As the contest wound down toward its final possessions, the full box score paints a genuinely unforgettable picture of what the Indiana Fever managed to put together collectively on the night.
3. She shot the lights out from 3 in this game, and this is how last year started, when Sophie Cunningham went on about a 6-week tear that absolutely contributed to this team somehow, some way making the playoffs last year. It was Sophie Cunningham. If you go back and look at her three-point shooting last year for about 6 weeks, she went bananas. Well, it looks like we're starting that all over again. By the way,
Looking back at the opening matchup this team had against Golden State earlier in the season, that result was lopsided heavily in the Valkyries' favor, a genuinely humbling, embarrassing outing for Indiana at the time that lingered in conversations for a while afterward. Compared against that backdrop specifically, tonight's showing carries even more weight and significance. Indiana came out with real composure, poise, and confidence from the opening tip all the way through to the final buzzer. Worth a specific shout-out to Aaliyah Hines-Allen as well, who absorbed a hard, awkward fall on the floor relatively early in the game and still managed to battle back and contribute meaningfully across the rest of the contest. The final score landed at 113.91 inches Indiana's favor, a genuinely emphatic decisive result that left little doubt about which team controlled the night. Clark's shooting from beyond the arc struggled noticeably throughout the night, going just 1 for 8 from three-point range overall.
By the way, let's just keep it real. I brought it up during this game. I posted it early on. Until Sophie went absolutely bananas with three-pointers tonight, this crowd was dead. This crowd was not fired up in the least bit. Here we go. Caitlin Clark right here, splitting the D. Let's check it out. Let's check it out right there to Monique Billings.
That particular detail barely matters in the larger picture given everything else she contributed across the rest of her game. She finished with a robust 14 assists alongside a steal and a block, effectively putting to rest any lingering argument floating around that she doesn't contribute meaningfully on the defensive end of the floor. Tonight offered a clear, visible rebuttal to that specific narrative. Her 21 total points rounded out what amounted to a genuinely complete two-way stat line on the night. Kelsey Mitchell, meanwhile, looked fully engaged, sharp, and locked in from the opening minutes, dropping 27 points on a highly efficient 9 of 1-1 shooting clip from the field, including a scorching 3 of 4 showing from beyond the arc and a clean 6 for 6 performance at the free throw line. Clark's own free throw shooting was a noticeable sore spot by comparison, missing 4 separate attempts on the night, an uncharacteristic wrinkle worth keeping an eye on going forward, though certainly not something
right there to Monique Billings. And look, Caitlin Clark had 14 assists tonight. You know, at one point I thought Caitlin Clark had a chance to get 20 assists tonight. No kidding. Can we have an uncomfortable conversation about the fact that it's time for Sophie to start over Lexi Hull? There, I said it. I said it out loud. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but I said it.
Cunningham's impact off the bench deserves serious, sustained recognition here. She finished with 24 points on an efficient 8-4-1-1 shooting line overall, including a blistering 6 of 7 mark from three-point range, essentially shooting the lights out from deep for nearly the entire night. She didn't miss a single free throw attempt either, while also adding 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 0 turnovers across the board. A genuinely clean, mistake-free, efficient performance from opening tip to final buzzer. By most reasonable measures available, she stood out as the single best performer of the game, doing meaningful damage across essentially all 24 minutes she logged on the floor.
When I seen that, I'm back confident, bro. I'm back confident they can win it all. I ain't lying. Because we all got to remember the first game they played against the Valkyries, bro. The Valkyries embarrassed the Fever. Embarrassed the Fever in that first matchup that they played with them, bro. But for them to come out here today, and stand on business, stood all the way, chest out. Shout out to Maisha Hines.
Aaliyah Boston turned in another quietly excellent outing as well, posting 18 points on a solid 7 of 1-1 shooting clip, adding a make from three-point range, knocking down every single one of her free throws, and pulling down 11 rebounds across 26 minutes of action for yet another double-double performance. It's worth pointing out genuinely how little national attention these consistent performances tend to generate, compared to similar double-doubles produced by other prominent players around the league on a regular basis. At this point, Boston is making this level of consistent production look almost effortless and routine, which may honestly be exactly why it keeps getting overlooked by the broader media landscape covering this league. Team-wide, Indiana shot a combined 6 of 6-9 from the field, good for 52% shooting overall on the night, a genuinely efficient, well-rounded offensive showing spread across the entire roster. There's genuinely little room left to criticize the coaching approach in this particular game.
Good all the way, chest out. Shout out to Maisha Hines Allen. She got smacked in the first early on, left, came back. Incredible, guys. This was a spectacular performance. Final score of the game, 91-113. Indiana Fever wins in an unforgettable fashion, bro. Caitlin Clark struggled at 3. She did. She was 1 of 8. But I don't want to hear none of that. Caitlin Clark, 14 assists.
If anything, most of the credit here belongs more to the players themselves, collectively absorbing the outside noise and criticism, circulating online and using it as fuel and motivation instead. Clark, in particular, has fielded plenty of criticism, lately questioning her leadership qualities, her temperament under pressure, and various other narratives circulating publicly about different aspects of her game. She had recently posted on social media, referencing a new chapter or era she felt she was personally entering at this stage of her career. Based on tonight's overall showing, that shift genuinely appears to be taking hold in real time, and she looks fully locked in and committed to reclaiming her standing at the very top of the league's broader conversation.
Clark, 14 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Who said Caitlin Clark don't play defense? Who the hell said Caitlin Clark do not play defense? Because she showed you a little defense in a toolbox today. 21 point, or should I say 21 gun salute from Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell woke up 27 points, 9 of 11 from the field, shot 90% from 3 of 4, 6 of 6.
Doubts about her turnovers or an off-shooting night from beyond the arc don't meaningfully change the overall picture. Here she displayed real grit and competitiveness throughout the entire contest, showed genuine defensive engagement on multiple possessions, and never once appeared to coast or take a playoff. Indiana has now won 4 straight games, with much of that recent stretch driven directly by Clark's all-around influence across both ends of the floor. A few individual sequences stood out clearly on the game tape. A no-look feed from Clark setting up an easy finish at the rim, a behind-the-back, no-look assist that set up Hull for a clean bucket on the wing, and a separate full-court outlet pass from Clark that Boston ultimately converted in transition for an easy 2. Monique Billings also deserves specific recognition tonight for consistently securing tough offensive rebounds and finishing the possessions that followed them, including one particular sequence where she grabbed an offensive board off a missed corner 3 attempt and immediately fed Hull for the resulting score on the putback opportunity.
6 of 6 from free throw. Caitlin Clark got to work on these free throws, man. I don't know what the hell going on with Caitlin Clark with her free throws, but she missed 4 of them today, y'all. She definitely missed 4 of them today, but it's cool. It's cool. And guys, don't forget to tune in to my live. I will be live immediately after this video drop for my signature post-game show. Sophie Cunningham, I cannot say enough, from the bench, kicked ass. Excuse my French, kicked ass. 24 points.
Indiana's largest lead at any point during the game reached a full 24 points at its peak. On the turnover front, there's still genuine room for improvement going forward. The team finished the night with 17 total giveaways, and Toronto managed to capitalize on all but 2 of them, converting roughly 15 points directly off those turnovers alone. Against tougher, more disciplined competition like Minnesota or Las Vegas later in the schedule, that kind of carelessness with the basketball would likely get punished far more severely on the scoreboard, even accounting for that one obvious weak spot. The overall performance tonight leaves plenty for fans and the organization to feel genuinely good and optimistic about heading into the next stretch of games on the calendar.
Excuse my French, kicked ass. 24 points, 8 of 11 from the field, 6 of 7 from 3, shot 90% from 3. Sophie Cunningham could not miss. Sophie Cunningham is speaking through that magic elbow today. What an incredible performance from Sophie Cunningham. She didn't miss a free throw. She had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 turnovers. Sophie Cunningham had donuts when it comes to the turnovers. Sophie Cunningham by far player of the game. She played a total of 24 minutes. She scored in all 24 minutes, bro. Aaliyah Boston, another spectacular performance. 26 minutes, 18 points, 7 and 11 from the field, 1 and 2 from 3. She made all her free throws, 11 rebounds, double-double machine. And what's crazy about this is when Angel Reese and everybody else was making their double-doubles, we seen national news. Why was we seen national news? Why we ain't heard no national news about Aaliyah Boston getting these damn double-doubles? Because she's making it look easy at this point. She's making it look easy. Now, y'all know we got to look at the team stats. Field goal percentage from the Fever, 36 of 69. They shot 52% from the field. Lights out basketball. Offensive masterpiece. I can't say nothing bad about Stephanie White in this one. I can't even lie to you. And I don't even believe it was her. I believe it was the team. The team been hearing all of the nonsense online. Caitlin Clark especially been hearing people say that she ain't a leader. She's a crybaby. She does all of these different set things. Caitlin Clark told us a week ago on her Instagram account. She made a post in her Taylor Swift tour PE shoes that she was entering a new era. And I'm telling you right now, this new era of Caitlin